Howdy folks, how y'all doing? Cub here, and welcome to Cub's Guide to Tinker's Construct Part 2. Last time we took a look at how to set up a basic workstation and build a basic tool, an extremely basic tool. And at the end of the episode, I promised we would come back and look at how to build a smeltery so that we could make tools using metal. So we're back, this is Part 2, we're going to do it. Look, I built us a nice little house. This is actually the exact same spot that we did the last tutorial. I just found lava, in quotes, found it, didn't place it there. And I put up a little house kind of around and underneath these things. They're actually sitting exactly where they were last time. Did y'all notice that village over there in part 1? I sure didn't. Anyway, so we're back. We're going to get started. First thing we're going to do is open up Materials New Part 1, scroll through here, and we actually have the first steps is to create a seared brick, which means we're going to need some grout. And a grout is sand, gravel, and some clay. Now, this may not make much sense, but don't worry. We're going to get another book when we get through with this. So, look at that. I happen to have some grout. Grout, sand, and some gravel. I don't know if this matters what order you put it in. No, look at that, it doesn't. You can pretty just drop it in there anywhere. I love that. Shapeless crafting. Grout. Let's grab a whole bunch of it. 2 whole stacks. We don't need this much, but I like to be prepared. So let's put half a stack in here, half a stack in here, half a stack, or a whole stack in there. Too bad we don't have another furnace. That would make things... See, the quicker we get this done, the quicker we can advance to other things, right? So, just, yeah, that'll do. I don't really think we need that many. So grab half of that stack and some of these bad boys. Alright, so as you can see, this grout, after it's cooked up, gives us some lovely seared bricks. Lovely, lovely things here, these seared bricks. Gotta love them. Let's grab a few of them. We're now up to 40, which is a pretty good starting thing. Now, the first thing we're going to need to build, if we skip through this book again... There we go. We can make seared bricks by putting 4 of them together, and we can make a smeltery controller by doing a ring of them, kind of like building a chest. And that's pretty much all we've got in here for smeltery in that first book. Let's see what happens when we go ahead and make these, though. So that'll give us... Oh, well, look at that! We've got Mighty Smelting. This is going to be the book that walks us through building the smeltery. So let's take a look in here. Not a whole lot of preamble to this one. Oh, wait. Yes, there is. Again... There's a whole bunch of stuff here to read if you really want to get into it. Good, because we're going to read it. So when working with the smeltery, there are a few things to keep in mind. The smeltery functions as a large liquid tank. It is capable of melting... Goodness gracious. Melting metals and mixing various things. Drains function as input-output for the tank. If you need to get liquids back into the structure, simply pour them into a drain. Ores naturally have more material than processed versions, such as ingots. The smeltery will preserve the full value of the ores, roughly twice as much as a regular furnace would provide. So that's something to keep in mind there. Mixing 2 or more metals in a smeltery may result in an alloy. I can't not talk. The process happens automatically. You want to keep an eye out for making alloys by accident. You don't want to do that. If you need more space, to process metal, add more layers. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Casts are made differently from patterns. Details are found later, and we will display them later. But the smeltery is a multi-block structure, which is always fun. You will need the following materials to get started. So we're going to need a smeltery controller, and we already saw what that looked like. We're going to need a seared tank, seared bricks, at least 9 of them, any combination of bricks, tanks, drains. We're going to need a faucet, a casting table. There are also some other things that we're probably going to want to make. I'll talk about the setup that I'm going to make and then kind of go through the different blocks and talk about the different setups you might want to make. But let's see. Beginning construction, we don't really need any of this information because I'm going to show you how to do it like a boss. So let's hop back over here. Let's fish all of the seared bricks. Wow, we've got a whole bunch of them now. This is great. Pretty much, I don't think we'll ever need any more. Alright, so let's build that first thing that we saw there. That's the smeltery controller. Here's another cool thing that we don't need. It's a casting basin. We're going to make one anyway because I think it's really useful. Alright, so we got that. Where are the directions for building these things? Here we go. So we're going to need the drain. We're going to need a seared tank. We don't need seared glass, but I'll show you what that does in a minute anyway. Seared window, I'll show you that as well. Faucet, casting table. Casting channel we're not going to use. You can, depending on what your setup is. You can, like, when you drain metals, you can actually send them down this channel to different locations. We'll look at that a little bit later. Brownstone, not something we're going to be looking at right now. So let's clear all of this stuff out. And just get these items down here. These are the basic things we're going to need. We're going to need a seared tank. Plop that down. Does not matter where you put that. You can put that anywhere you want to. I'm just going to throw it there. Gonna throw the controller next to it. I'm gonna put the drain over here on this side because, you know, I can. Along with the, well, There you go. That's those items. These items we're not going to throw in there yet. Now we're just going to need a whole bunch of bricks to finish up the structure. Bricks are made like so. 15. I don't know if that's going to be enough, actually. Ooh. So we're going to have to put 9 in the bottom like this in a 3x3 pattern. Okay? And let's actually take these up real quick so you can see what we're going to do. So we got 3x3. Now we're going to create a ring around it. And yeah, we definitely don't have enough. Let's get some cheaty going on here, guys. Again, never claimed this would be legit. It's just tutorial, right? We're going to create a ring around it. There we go. Now, this is actually big enough to do what we need to do. What we got to do is take out at least 3 of these blocks. We're going to put in a controller, a tank, and we might as well go ahead and put the drain right here. And we want to attach the faucet to the drain, like so. And as you can see, this sucker lit up, and this is the smeltery. It's now fully running and ready to go. We need to put some fuel in it, and for fuel, it uses lava. So just get your bucket of lava there. Toss that in there, and voila. It can be a little buggy. You might see it disappear, but it's in there. And now all you got to do to start smelting things is throw some ores in there, and it'll start cooking them up. Now, you'll notice you can't really hold a whole lot in here. You can throw 9 ores in here. How do you change that? Well, you can build this guy up. Let's make it 2 tiers and see what happens. There you go. All of a sudden, you've now got double space, and you can go up higher with that if you'd like to. Alrighty, now that we have an extremely basic smeltery up and going, not the prettiest thing in the block, but it gets the job done. It almost looks like a funny face. It's kind of winking. Anyway, now that we have that up and going, it's time to start melting down some metal to make some metal tool parts, okay? So the first thing we're going to need to do is melt down some metal. Alright, let's grab, well, just go ahead and grab some iron ingots. Now, you don't have to use iron ingots. Should be noted, we can put some iron ingots in there, and that'll work just fine. But we can also grab some iron blocks. If I'm not mistaken, we can throw an iron brick in there, too. Yeah, as you can see, it'll start to melt those down as well. And as it does that, it will use up some of the fuel. So you want to keep an eye on your lava. Make sure you got enough in there to keep the cooking going. We're going to add a couple more. There we go. And now as those melt down, you'll see they actually show what's in there, sort of. It's a little buggy. But once these are done, look, the fuel finally popped up over there. All right, there you go. So those are done. So if we look in here, look at that. We actually have some molten iron. That's pretty cool. That is actually really cool. If we click on the smeltery controller, it shows us right there. We have molten iron, 3 ingots worth. And then once that guy's finished, it'll pop up there, Noel. It'll pop in there as well, and as you can see, it says we have 5. That's because when you smelt down regular ores in here, it gives you twice as much as you would get from a furnace. This guy will go through, and we should have 14 total, if I did my math correctly. Yep, there we go. So we got a lot of iron. Now, what do we do with it? Well, we have to pour it into molds. Now, if you're like me, you're probably thinking, all right, well, molds, we'll just put it in one of these guys, right? So we want to make like an iron head and put that in there, and wait. Nope, that didn't work at all. That's because if you tried to pour molten metal into a wooden pattern, it would burn. I don't know if you guys ever thought about that. I know I didn't. I was very confused the first time I went through this. As it happens, though, there's something very special we have to build here. And if we fly through here to recipes, at least that's where I think it's going to be at. Oh my gosh, did we break it? Okay, well, ignore recipes. That's not important. What is important is aluminum brass. This is what we're going to need right here. Aluminum brass is going to be 3 parts aluminum and 1 part copper. And aluminum and copper are found in the game. They're part of this mod. And this is what they look like. Aluminum ore. Yay. And copper ore. Again. Yay. Oops. Didn't mean to grab that. There we go. We're going to throw these in there as well. And when they combine, we will get some aluminum brass. What was it? 3 parts. Let's fly back over here. 3 parts aluminum and 1 part copper. Okay, so for every 3 aluminum, we're going to need 1 copper. So 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. We're going to need quite a bit of this to start off with. Now, if we look in here, you can see we're already getting some molten aluminum. And once that guy there finishes melting, we've got 10 molten aluminum. Aluminum goes through fast, man. Good grief. But once this one finishes processing, we should get, there it is, molten aluminum brass. Our first bit there, we got 8 ingots worth. So that's a pretty good start. Now, if we just click here, It'll fill up and make, as you see, it pours out of the drain there. You do that by just right-clicking. Boom! We've got a blank cast. Fantastic. And actually, if you did that by mistake, you can throw it back in there and it'll melt it back down, feed it back into the system, which is good because we don't actually need that. Well, we might actually. Hold on. If I'm not mistaken, there's one thing you can do in the stencil table with this guy. Absolutely wrong. Not at all. So, in order to make sort of stencils, as you see, you can't just throw these in here and get them. What you're going to have to do is make... Let's grab some cobblestone. I'll just show you. It's easier to show you, right? So we're going to go ahead and say we want to build an axe out of iron, right? So we know for an axe we're going to need a pickaxe head, and we're going to throw the stone in here. And I know what you're thinking, Reese. Stone. Wait, what? Trust me on this one. Stone pickaxe head. We're going to need a stone tool rod. And last but not least, we're going to need the stone binding. Where is the binding? Is that it? Yep, tool binding. Boom. So that's everything we need to build a pickaxe. You're thinking, Reese, that's stone. I don't get it. Don't worry. You're about to. What we're going to do is we're going to take these items. We're going to place them in this basin. Or is this a casting basin? I don't remember what this is called. Boom. Fills out there. And look at that. You now have the pickaxe head cast. And all you got to do is select this, put it in there, and we can now pour the metal into that cast. Now we want to make sure we're getting aluminum. So what we can do is we can go in here and just right-click on the metals, and then makes them switch places. Like that. Let's add some more copper to this mix here. And once that's on the bottom, click there. It'll fill in. And voila, look at that. You got your iron pickaxe head, and it's that easy. That's how you make your metal parts. And you do this for pretty much anything. You just use the, oops, well, we're all out of the... We're out of the blank or the aluminum brass. But once we get some more aluminum brass, it just pours out of there. We'll get the metal parts. And then from there, it's pretty much assembled exactly the same way as any other part. We could take it over here and just for the sake of demonstration, throw it in the tool station and make yourself a pickaxe with a reinforced one because we got the pickaxe there. That's pretty cool. Now, the coolness with this guy doesn't end here. Let's say that you wanted to extract some of this stuff here, some molten aluminum, and you wanted to extract it as a bar. Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is create a bar cast by molten aluminum brass, pouring it over an iron bar. There we go. Pop. And now we can throw this guy in here, and let's say, okay, we want a molten aluminum brass ingot. You got it. Check that out. So we got an ingot of that, and let's say, okay, now give me some iron. It will be done. Fantastic. Now let's say you have a whole bunch of stuff in there and you want to get it all out really quickly. Let's say you have 9 pieces of something. Do we have 9? We definitely have enough for, well, we also have enough for iron, right? So let's dig this guy up. And you can have many drains on here if you want to. We only have 1 drain. If we had 2, we could keep both the casting table and the basins up together. We only have 1 drain on here though, so we're going to have to switch them out. But as you can see, I have 12 pieces of iron. So what I can do, and you only need 9 for this to work, is you can pour your iron into the basin, and when it's done, it'll harden into a block of iron using 9 iron ingots. Just like if you were to take 9 ingots over here in the crafting table and throw them together to get a block of iron. Yep, pretty much the same thing, except for this, it's all automated. Check that out, and of course it works with all of the others. So you can pour that in there. So that's a great way to store your items. And of course, once they're done, you can throw them back in here and melt them back down and use them later. But if you ever need to get things out of here, this is the way to do it. Or again, like I said, you can use the iron or the ingot cast, which works as well. So let's get all this stuff out of the inventory, and that pretty much sums up how you make metal tools. And you guys now know you can play around with that. There are actually a lot of different metals in this game that you can find and use. And if we go in here, let's say we hop into creative real quick. We go to Tinker's Construct. You can kind of scroll through here. There's a lot of other stuff you can look at and build. We haven't gotten to it yet. But as you can see, this mod adds copper ore, tin ore, aluminum ore. It also adds some fancier things. These are ore gravels. We'll get to those at a later date. Right now, though, there's some specific ores I wanted to show you guys. Where are they? Oh, right there. Cobalt ore and Ardite ore. And those are going to make some pretty awesome tools if you can find them. As you can see, they're definitely nether related, so head into the nether and see if you can locate those. And of course, they're cooked up just like everything else in the game. You just toss them into here, and you have a good time. Now, when it comes to building this guy, there are other options besides just using the seared bricks. You have 2 other options, actually. If we open up our book, you can see we've got these 2 things here. called a seared glass and a seared window. And you can put these in anywhere you want to. They'll just take up the place of these seared bricks. The only difference is you'll be able to see through them, and they can actually store lava. So let's go ahead and grab a couple of these. We'll get seared window, seared glass, and a seared tank just to test it on all of these. We'll head outside, and we'll go, oops, sun is setting. Head over here to the lava pit. We're going to put these guys down side by side, and we'll throw lava in them, because I want to make sure this works on all of them before I just say that it does, because I'm not sure. If I'm not mistaken, though, we should be able to break these guys now. And then move them. And yeah. They hold the lava, and you can get the lava back out. Really useful. Of course, this one is necessary, the tank here, to get the smeltery to work. These two are more decorative, but yeah, you can see it can definitely hold some liquids, which is really cool. Another thing you can do is you can set up faucets to automatically feed these guys. So let's break one of this down, and we're going to give that a try. Let's grab some faucets, and of course, you already saw the description or the directions on how to build one of these. We just sort of skipped it because it's not something we're interested in. Oh, not faucets. That's not what I meant to grab. Fail. I definitely meant channels. There they are. That's what we want. So you attach these guys over here, right? Start pouring that out, and as you see, it runs. Oh, it's so cute looking. Run all the way into here and start to fill up our tank, and that's another way you can store your metals, and it looks a bit cooler too. Fortunately, there's no real way to tell how much you've got in there, and in order to get it out, you'll have to extract it, and we don't have any free buckets on hand, but you can probably figure out how to get a bucket and right-click on that to get your metal out. I just realized that some folks might not be able to figure that out, so grab a bucket, right-click. Oh my gosh, it doesn't work. How am I getting my metals out of this? I don't understand. It's okay. What is going on? See, now I'm just confused. Here I am in the middle of making a tutorial, and I have no idea how to get this stuff out of here. Ah, okay. Can I do like a reverse thing? No, is that not going to work? Oh my gosh, that's it. Okay, it just had to be elevated. There we go. So you got to elevate it above the channel, and then it'll pour into the channel, and you get this. There you go. That's how you do it. We've all learned something today. So be careful with these things. These things can be confusing. Don't hurt yourselves. That's, I think, what is the most important message here. Also, on a side note, I finally found where it talks about blank casts, which is right over here with the picture on the next page. So if you were having trouble finding that in the book, there it is. I know I was having trouble. Look at that. You can make pig iron, which is made from iron, blood, and emeralds. That's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that. Bronze can also be made, manilium and alumite. Ooh, those are fun words. And that's what you're going to need: aluminum, iron, obsidian. You're going to need cobalt and ardite. That's pretty powerful there. And then copper and tin will make bronze, of course. So that pretty much sums it up for this part. That was a pretty basic, pretty short tutorial on how to build your smeltery and how to create metal tool parts. And of course, metal tool parts, if you already watched part 1, you know how to build a tool. It's the exact same thing. Just throw them over here in the tool station. You can build your tools. You can go back to Materials New, Volume 2, and you can read through what the different materials are useful for. Iron is one of the metal materials that you're going to use. Alumite, as well as there's some other ones: cobalt, ardite, manilium, copper, bronze, steel, pig iron. You can kind of read and compare. Make yourself some cool tools. I don't know. I'm still a big fan of the unnamed pickaxe. Next time around, though, we're going to look at some different tools that you can make, some advanced tools that are actually kind of teased. And, oh, which book is it? It's the second book. You can pop through here and you'll see things like the mattock and the hammer, the lumber axe, the excavator. Lots of cool things here that we're going to look at. Take a look at those next time when you guys come back to see more Cubs Guides. Hope you all enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye.